Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. We are on episode 19 of JuJutsu Kaisen, and oh, it's been a long wait. I have been working all day, and then I had some stuff to do this evening, and I've had friends on Patreon and seen like people on Twitter ranting about it. I've not been spoiled, but I've heard this is a good episode, so I'm like, oh, exciting. Which the last several episodes have been really good. Like I would say from episodes 17 and 18, both of those were really good, and I'm just so excited by what could happen this episode. And usually when I start out these episodes, I'll pull it up on Crunchyroll and it'll be a black screen and I'll just press pause and I'll do my little intro here and then go into it. But this episode, it's automatically like a scene of what looks like a floor or a roof. So I'm like, are we just jumping into this? I'm assuming we are. I'm pretty excited. So last week, Hanami, the curse with the weird like gathering of blankets on him that controls all the plant life. He came into the picture and broke up the fight between Koma and Fushigoro and that whole business. And then we got Irumaki in on it. And so it's all this craziness happening. Mahito's in the picture. They're trying to separate Gojo. I'm assuming to try to seal him up and capture him. I'm sure that Geto's in on it as well. I'm really, all of these things are being set up to lead us towards episode 24, the final of this series, and it's been a lot of fun so far. And one thing I've noticed is that I've seen on Twitter panels from the manga, and I just have to note that the art style, because sometimes when you adapt a manga to an anime, the art style changes a little bit, and sometimes it's for better and sometimes it's for worse. MAPPA has really outdone themselves on transferring this from the manga to the anime, because I'm not a manga reader. I'm an anime only on JuJutsu Kaisen. There are other anime that I've read the manga for, but not this series. And as much as I want to, I'm going to hold off because I feel like they're going to keep producing seasons of this show because of its popularity. So I'm going to hold off on that. But I have seen some stills from the manga, and you can make out which characters are which, but the art style in the manga is a lot rougher and more raw than the anime is. The anime polishes and adds color and shadows and depth to the animation while still keeping it recognizable. And I think that's a pretty good feat that MAPPA can do that, and you still get that it's JuJutsu Kaisen, but that the artwork's elevated. I like that a lot. So I just wanted to point that out. If you've ever seen any panels from the manga and you've been like, that looks different than the anime. Mm-hmm. But in any case, I'm a big fan. So yeah, episode 19, Black Flash. The preview showed Todou and Yuuji, so I'm like, what have these two boys been up to learning their secret technique together? I have no clue what's going to happen, guys, but I'm pretty excited. So let's dive in, shall we? We are going to start episode 19 of JuJutsu Kaisen here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Okay. Holy cow. Guys. That was a shonen. You know what? I really like this series because it has taken a lot of shonen tropes and it's subverted them and changed them and modernized them. Because when I think of shonen, I grew up in the 90s into the early 2000s with like Dragon Ball Z, with Bleach, with Naruto, and especially with shows like Bleach and Dragon Ball Z and stuff, the action sequences, there's a certain like standard and trope that you expect. And JuJutsu Kaisen follows a lot of those tropes with shonen, and it reminds me of those classic shows as well from the 90s and early 2000s, but it modernized them in such a way, like with episode 17 and the female characters all fighting, and with making like commentary about society and social constructs and things, and like the psychological aspects about people and humans and things like that. Like it kind of modernizes it and elevates it in a way that makes it very interesting, and you can kind of theorize and talk about it. But this episode was like hardcore classic shonen. Like you had like nonstop action from start to finish. You had weapons, you had techniques, you had mystical arts, you had a monster running rampant, and figuring out that it's a monster and it's okay to be a monster according to Mahito. You've got basic needs. If this were a shonen, I'm sorry, but Fushigoro would have been the female character being like, save me, Yuji. And it's like, you go get healed. I'm going to take care of business. That's what it would have been like. That's all I could think of at that moment was like, man, Fushigoro, you are the damsel in distress. You've helped out all you can, and now Yuji's tagging in. And you can tell because it makes sense. All of Fushigoro's memories of Yuji have been from Curse Womb, from way back in episode 4 and 5. Like, that's the last time he was really around Yuji in a setting where they fought. Was way back in episode 4, like 15 episodes ago. Like, he hasn't seen Yuji fight since then. So naturally, he would be scared that Yuji's going into this battle unprepared and is going to get hurt. And so then I love that he's like, if you die, I'll kill you myself. If you die again. It's like, oh, what a line. But man, MAPPA stepping up with that animation again, like from start to finish, so good. And Fushiguro realizing that maybe Koma was holding back from fighting him when he was fighting Hanami. The discussion between Mahito and Hanami is that part. I was like, because he's like, well, humans have basic needs to eat and sleep and screw, and curses have basic needs too, to murder and kill and do all this. So just because we can think logically doesn't mean that we have to, take away those base instincts. And I'm like, oh God, that means he's just gonna get stronger, isn't it? He's actually enjoying a fight now. That's usually your protagonist gets to where they enjoy the fight, and then now it's the antagonist. But that makes me concerned, because that makes me think that maybe Hanami did not have a domain expansion, and now he's going to get one just like Mahito did. I don't know. It looked like Todou's going to go all out next episode. Todou! What a character. What a character. I can't say that I've seen a character in an anime or a shonen like this, quite as blatantly over the top and unapologetically as Todou, because Todou just doesn't care what you think about him. He is unapologetically brash and brazen and like, well, Yuji, if you just don't do the technique I taught you, I'm going to let you die. And he's totally serious. He's not trolling. He's not joking around. He's dead serious. And then the whole best friend, brother, like they're just like brother in arms, the bros, the bromance is like, this is a true bromance. There's a lot of series where the bromance is actually kind of like a romantic subtext, but we're just calling it a bromance because we don't want to admit it. But no, these are the Chads of our series having the best bromance possible, and I am loving it. Like there is no romantic subtext here at all. It is two bros being brothers and best friends and just having it out and fighting this monster, and I'm all about it. I love it. Because like with Yuji and Fushiguro, there's that romantic subtext, and whether you ship it or not, I ship it, but whether you do or not, it's there. But with Todou and Yuji, there's no romantic subtext. It's literally two bros being best bro friends, and it's like, yes, I am all for it. I love it. And just the animation and them fighting, and the only thing I get at this point is how this whole veil factors into Mahito's plan, unless their plan is to isolate and take Yuji themselves. The only thing I can figure is that they didn't want Gojo to protect Yuji, because Gojo would probably think that's what they're after, so he would be by Yuji, and that would be problematic. So the only thing I can think of is that they viewed Gojo as the biggest threat to them getting Yuji, so they did the veil to keep Gojo out, and hopefully try to kill the sorcerers within it without having to worry about Gojo, and also maybe trying to capture Gojo on the outside. But now everybody's leaving to go to the outside, so they're all going to converge. So how is that going to work if they're trying to kidnap Gojo? How is that going to work into their plans? Like, how are they going to be able to try to get Gojo if everybody's starting to come out of the veil and meeting back up with them? That's the only thing I don't get, is I'm not entirely sure the motivations of Mahito and the others at this point. I don't exactly know what their goal is. Are they trying to capture Gojo? Are they trying to kill Gojo? Are they trying to capture Yuji to get Sukuna? Are they trying to kill Yuji to get Sukuna to come out? Are they trying to just kill the sorcerers? Or are they just buying time? Is this whole thing just a distraction to buy them time? Because Geto and them said that they wanted to sneak in to the JuJutsu Academy in Tokyo to steal the other fingers of Sukuna. Like, that was their goal. So is this whole thing just to buy time so they can go do that? I don't know. I do appreciate that we're getting pretty much all of the OP coming together. The only thing is Yuta, the character in white that we have not seen yet, that we only know because he's the only second year that Fushigoro respects. Truly. And so we see him in the OP, so I'm wondering if at the end of this is he going to make an appearance. I don't know. I don't know why you'd include him if you weren't going to have him show up unless he's just like in a flashback or something at the end of this. But we're at episode 19, so we really have 5 episodes left of the series. And man, I feel like so much has happened in this show. It's crazy, y'all. Oh man, crazy stuff. So yeah, I don't know how we're handling this next episode. I don't know the outcome of this. I'm assuming how Todou and Yuuji are going to handle Hanami, but I'm so excited. This was such a top tier, it was shonen at its best. It was just nonstop action. It was hilarious. It was all the testosterone you would need for that demographic. But then you have Fushigoro being, which by the way, yeah, someone on Patreon made the comment. Wu was like, I know you haven't watched the episode yet, but I'm just going to say Fushigoro's voice actor. And I agree. It's the same Mr. Uchida who plays Ash from Banana Fish. He plays Kyo from Fruits Basket. He does a lot of other roles, and he's so good in it. And he's so good in this show. Like, you just feel that emotion come through him. Mm-hmm. But yeah. These last several episodes I have loved from start to finish, and this one is just right up there with them. I'm excited for all the action to come, y'all. I'm so ready. I hope it continues on into episodes 20 and the rest of the season, but chef's kiss for shonen for this episode, for sure. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. Please no spoilers. I am anime only, so please no manga spoilers. But I'm curious to know what y'all thought of the episode. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe and take care. And yeah, I'll be back next week with episode 20 of JuJutsu Kaisen. Bye.